Hey guys, well, it's been some day. It's a great day. It's getting bigger. It's getting better. It's getting better. It's a beautiful morning. It's a beautiful day. It's getting better in every way. My. Um, ABBA. Yeah, I've been seeing and hearing an awful lot more about ABBA. What's the name of the game? I saw that video today. It was some kind of extended video, and they were all dressed up in white and gold and with their gold boots, and it was, and they had their guys there in the background. They were in white. I think one was had blue trim, the other had purple maybe. I was like, well, is it meaningful to me? Yeah, it sure does. It has meaning to me. It seems to be a lot more serious than I knew it was going, since we didn't realize there was a game. We didn't know we were in the game or that we were the game. But so yeah, that was fun, and yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing more of them, I guess. But all I can say is, well, gee whiz, things are coming along, I guess. I told you about this morning, the very first thing right off the bat. Here comes the attacks, right? Well, um, anyway, so I was going through the day, and of course there was the ABBA thing, and with the name of the game, and then there was an encounter of envisioned with I should say a writer's details, as though they might be knocking out a quick paperback novel, and there was a reference within that little teeny tiny vignette that of a coffee date, no less, of going over here to the shop where the sweetness was, because in the encounter in vision, it was one of those, I don't know what I'm doing. I was completely thrown off guard by looking into those eyes or whatever. But anyway, so then the next thing I know is there's Paul. There's Paul again, Mr. McCartney, and singing along on one of the commercials, and it was for coffee. So I thought of Sting at that point. I was thinking about synchronicities, but it was a planted coincidence, I thought. And the song that's on the commercial goes on to, it's a Beatles tune, and I recognized they had a very specific thing going on with them, and especially in all those early works. But always, always there's a recipe, I should say, that they have really good. Well, there's people that master it, and then there's those who can't. But it can be wrapped up in some of the most complicated pieces, or embedded in some seemingly the most innocent, simplistic pieces. And it is for very specific types, which again says, oh, I guess I'll have to sing at least one or two songs, even if I put them together on a computer. There was the Go-Go's. And I heard this story about how we're supposedly one of one, or high vibing, and that we're not really in groups, but we're seen as associating with specific groups. And they likened it to, like a bird sitting out on a outer branch of a tree. Instead of, like, you're not in the middle of the tree, you're not in the group, but you're like there, and you can be associated as temporarily at least hanging out with them, and or they're one of your groups that you associate with, perhaps. And the whole gist of the vibe or story was basically, they're going for that whole lone wolf vibe. You don't fit in, and I And the fact of the matter is there are groups that I actually do fit in with. White people, they like me an awful lot. The Sky, the blue folks, they like me an awful lot. Um, so yeah, I think there are groups I fit in. Am I supposed to? See, here's the thing. It's like, hey, I'm not from here. I'm visiting here. I really like a bunch of you guys over here because you're like da 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 da, and you do da 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 blah blah blah. And then of course I like those, but it's like I am in from the time that I started in a transitional journey, and it is supposed to be okay back to the top and or kick off and float away, back into space where it's probably best to be after having picked up all the pieces along the way. And because the simple fact of the matter is whether it's they see me or they hear me or both, there's going to be people out there that will just, it's just going to be naturally like the same thing, how I'm attracted to Paul and his music or Paul Simon's music, or the Go-Go's, or, just anybody that you think, oh, I just really like that song, or I really, you know what I'm saying? It's their, whatever it is that they put together is appealing to a specific kind and a specific phase. That's the way I look at it. And yeah, with what we've got going on, we're going to be able to cut through an awful lot of stuff, I think. I do see, it does seem like, well, I mean, we are the kind that actually, endeavor to have win-win scenarios where, and just the perfect example of that is you're providing a service to whoever it is, it's blah, 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 blah. And in exchange for that, you're receiving these funds or some other service in barter, whatever. But, it's it's a win for them because they're getting to make their money or whatever they're getting out of it, and you're getting what you wanted to get out of it. So everybody's getting what they wanted or something like it. It's benefiting both parties. What I've seen from this other deal is it is to for them and them alone, because again, who the hell are they, right? Yeah, the damn darkness. Picture Luke Skywalker being trapped by these people, and they're trying to torture them or whatever, their techniques to convince them that no, you are the darkness. Join the dark force, Luke. Use your anger. Well, we don't have any anger. Unless somebody with anger is close to us, then we can utilize it. We certainly can utilize it then. It stirs things up and creates a real big focus. Lots of energy there. But it's not anything that we want to take on. It's not that useful. There's lots of energy that can be used instead of that. Well, listen, what I heard was basically a couple of different things, which again sounded not exactly, but pretty much fit the same pattern of, well, they've got this new story or new line or new thought, or they've read a passage out of the Bible and somehow they're going to say this is the story, and that they're married to us, and I think maybe they're starting to get the sexes right now, trying to figure out who's who or what's what, and I think they might be becoming clarified on that even, but again, this whole thing of, usually this is whenever they start saying, and this is what I posted CJ's thing today or yesterday, and I said usually whenever these are the predictions of, well, the world is yours and everything you do, you're the winner and blah blah blah, and everybody loves you, and it's everything's going to go your way, and you're going to be the richest person there ever was, and blah 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 blah, usually indicates that guess what? the enemies have got everything set up again. They're ready for your run, and they're ready to go with you and to do what they can to facilitate that with their magic and their evil and their darkness, which I see as all not anything at all other than a darkening of what I'm supposed to be, a degradation of what I'm supposed to be. That's why I said 17 years ago, well, actually longer ago, I think it was. But anyway, when I left Arizona, that was goodbye. I'm done. Thanks. Goodbye. And then it was, 2010 that they actually were in contact with me via instant messenger on Facebook or whatever it's called. And then I said goodbye then. And oh, no, that wasn't going, no, ignored. So again and again and again is the disrespect. It's, oh, we've got our plan, we've got our evil, we're in a position of power, we have the advantage at this point, so we can say whatever the hell we want to say and enforce it because we managed to get over top of you and we're taking all your stuff and blah, blah, blah. And that was the story. Okay. Yeah, they're married to you, whatever it was. Yeah, there was love. Yeah, whatever the excuse was to murder the hell out of us. Their opposition, their actual enemy, not their love. What do you think they're capable of love? I mean, come on. I'm pretty sure they don't have the ability to love, and they don't understand it, and they don't know what it is. In other words, the perfect assassin for that which is love, because they can't be affected by the love. Otherwise, they'd be affected by the light, and they'd be like, well, I don't want to hurt them. They're the love. I want to love them. I want them to love me. You see what I'm saying? And that's probably going to be one of the worst things that ever happens to them is they may be given a heart and a big bucket of water and said, and this is what it feels like to love, and this is what you made them feel like. Now, bleed. I mean, hey, learn what it's about, right? Anyway, no, we're not. You can't just, again, it's the same stupidity. It's the same damned, insulting, disrespectful, invasive, hostile, abusive return. To just say whatever, just go, here you go. Well, yada yada, blah blah blah, horse shit and dragon shit too, and stir it all together, and we don't care if you say boo hoo, because it's all going to work out now. They've got a new attitude, and they've got a new this, and they're a new person. They're a totally different person. Because what? No, they didn't get God. No, because why? Because God spit on them if they approached God. That's what I'm sure of. God just spit on them. They'd never be heard by God. They wouldn't be able to do anything other than get spat upon. I don't think they'd be heard for a second. They could set themselves on fire. I don't think that they'd ever be looked at, to tell you the truth. Because it's just be a bunch of sin and evil and hatred burning down there. I mean, maybe that's what needs. I don't know. But this whole thing of, well, we're just going to invade and throw a bunch of our energies there. For what purposes? Oh, you have gifts after 20 years of not bringing us anything, but always taking. Oh, well, that's not true. The gifts were always something bad. Something bad. Have you noticed an increase in sirens and fire engines and police sirens, emergency squads, and that kind of thing? Have you noticed an increase in sirens? Because there's been an increase in this area. And I know a lot of times whenever they're unable to put their fires and this other stuff that they have, they have to get rid of it somehow, and whoa, next thing you know, there's emergency or something bad or what. I was being told that the Iran thing was something about a Stargate, which I thought, well, is insane. But it was going to be a good day today. I woke up with a real good feeling and just an overall vibration that was suggesting to me that, hey, maybe we have turned that proverbial corner, so to speak, figuratively speaking, rather. And but then, within 10 minutes or something, here comes the attacks. And yeah, apparently it was them doing the same damn thing, trying to return and or with the help of this, that, or another. And those things will not pay off for them. That won't profit them at all. That'll just prove to be extremely expensive. And I say this in the name of the Lord. I say this in the name of the Prince of Peace and our Father who art in heaven, that none of that's ever going to work out for them. That's just called invasion. That's, again, an act of war. There's no conversation. There is no agreement. There never was. And you can go on and say that there's agreements, but unless there's an actual handshake and I say, yes, I agree, then there's no damned agreement. You're the darkness. I'm not. You keep to yourself and your own kind. We're not marrying the damn darkness. That's stupid. Uh, like, again, we can go our own way. That was always our prerogative, and we don't mind being a lonely day, not one little teeny tiny bit, because you know what? The light is with me. I am married to the light. Well, you might be married to magic and hate and scheming and narcissism and manipulation to ascertain the prices that you've calculated have a specific value versus others. Well, it's just, again, incompatibility. By the way, in honor of Robert Duvall, one of the best actors of all time, I think. I mean, I really enjoyed the man's work. I would recommend that you see The Apostle. It was really a moving work, and especially like whenever he's talking to God, he's angry with God, he's trying to talk to God. It was some good. There's really some good stuff in there. I was looking at Belinda Carlisle when she first came out as the Go-Go's, with the "Our Lips Are Sealed" thing. And I was thinking, she must have been a cheerleader, right in high school. Just this vibe, It's just, but anyway, um, the other day, whenever I will say that I tuned in to the the obsessed black witch who doesn't seem able to stop lying, although their stories are starting to. It seems again like they might be starting to recognize who's who and what's what, and how you refer to what is male or female. Seemed to be so very confused for so long that I looked at it and I was like, well, I guess they see black as white and up as down and left as right. I think they're from an opposite universe of some sort, and obviously have no damned idea of what reality is. So I couldn't pay attention to much of anything they said, especially with all those, all that threat, all the threats and the competitiveness, and you can watch them cycle back and forth between different techniques of manipulation. Um, it's just amazing to watch for short periods, and then you go, I can't take it. I tune away because it's just insanity. I look at it and I'm like, that's fire. That's fire. It's have you ever seen fire dancing about? How it does? How it's always in motion? How it's frenetic type of dancing energy that it's just unceasing, and I've felt it before, and it's not anything that I'm into or would want. I I look at it and I'm like, no, you wouldn't want to get involved in that. I'd rather be cool. Hey, man, hey, man, stay cool. Be cool, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man. Um, that's what I was told. Stay cool, man. Because you don't want to be like, um, dating the daughter of the devil, because, man, and she could rock you in the nighttime till your skin turns red. Damn witchy woman. Which brings us back to saying, hey, I hope the Eagles are doing good out there in the sphere. I know Don Henley's still on the job, and Joe Walsh is I saw a posting from him the other day, suiting up like a soldier, getting out there, turning it all up, turning it all on, and doing it for all those people that are for that love. And God bless him for soldiering on. That's what I say. I heard, yeah, it. Well, I'll address that. Yeah, I will go ahead and address it. I tuned in, I tuned out, tuned in, I tuned out, I tuned in, tuned out, enough to go. Yeah, it's still crazy. No matter what it's saying. Oh, they had gifts or something, I guess, but the way they keep painting the picture, and it's very confrontational. It's very conflict oriented. It seems threatening, cursing, which is all very bad. Again, this is a house of light. Okay, whether or not you want to believe it. Okay, and you can talk about God, quote unquote, all you want, but unless the sky is your friend and the light lives within you, um, unless that's a friend of yours, unless you know who is the good God, if, unless the white people would be, yeah, come on in, we like you in our lodge, unless you can do all that, then we have no idea what you're up about and why you'd be around or why you'd come back. Because marrying outside of our species basically is what you're talking about. Something that's completely the opposite of what we are. Hey, you know, we're going back. We're going to return to the light and the kingdom of light and life. Whereas these others, they seem to want to hover in between. They don't really want to go up because they can't. But of course they don't really want to go down for the last time either. The line again and again. I every time I come around to this on the learning spiral, I keep being reminded of Logan's Run, Capricorn 15, last day. Now I don't know what that means, but I think it was significant. Brendan Fraser's got a new movie out. Have you seen it? It's about D-Day. I think it's probably going to be a good one. I always liked Brendan. He always came across as just like, you know, so easily playing of the good guy. You know, like he actually was sort of like a day fella. You know, even though he's got to shoot that one and shoot that one and kill all those evil guys, he really is, you know, he's got a good heart and it's clean, full of courage because he's one of those kind. All right. Listen, I'm going to let this one go for right now because that was just sort of like an update on what was going on and so on. And again, you know, I guess these people, you know, have just been trying again. I don't know what the hell they're thinking. Why suddenly I would be like, okay, yeah, put all your hot stuff here and heat us up and make us a member of the Evil Dead family because we're not accepting that. That's not what we're doing. We're not going to have a integration with the darkness. And we'll cover some more of that in the next video about, the manipulation, because our eyes are opening really wide and we're seeing and hearing at a better level again. So if you think you have discernment, all I can tell you is you have a lot of energy that and I do believe you have a lot of knowledge, but discernment is probably what keeps you obsessed with this, seeing it as your only ticket out. That's what my best guess is. God bless and God love all of you who are for me and not against me. All of you who is not for me falling, okay, but instead for my continuing to rise and fly as the eagle shall. and and God love each and every one of you that's loyal to us, and to our success and victory, our health and well-being, because you know we're going to be loyal to yours, I'm quite sure. God love you. God keep you.